The Chicago Bears take on the Buffalo Bills at Soldier Field in their third and final preseason game of 2023. No joint practices or any practice footage ahead of time this week, but a lot of exciting news entering this game, especially that Justin Fields will play, which means you'll see DJ Moore and maybe Chase Claypool. Josh Allen is also playing for the Buffalo Bills. Will make at least the first couple drives more interesting. Maybe some Stephon Diggs. Who knows? But Tremaine Edmonds is back against his old unit, and I'm excited to see how he leads the defense along with Tony. And yes, it could be a 2023 Super Bowl matchup as they're both the NFC and AFC. We just called it first. If we called it, you owe us $1 million. But hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside my co-host and good friend, Tony Sapita. Tony, big game ahead for guys going for roster spots. Who are the two people on the roster that, at their respective positions that you're looking out for as they're duking it out for that final spot?
Yeah, the guys I'm looking at are Darius Fountain and Nasimba Webster. I hit on Fountain a little more in the episode. But Webster, he does have a chance to stay on with special teams because he kind of has been in the return spot. But it's basically just a final wide receiver spot at this point. I do think Darius Fountain's going to win. I think he's been at least been showing the highlight tape in practice. I'm sure we've tweeted it out. So that's who I'm watching out for this weekend.
Going off that, Velus Jones Jr., kick return specialist, but punt return fumbler. He is going to play this upcoming Saturday, according to reports. Is he on the hot seat? Is this the last game as a Chicago Bear?
It could be. I'll do a little tease, as they call it in the biz. We actually hit on that at the end with special teams, and I lay out the perfect plan to figure out who the kick returner and who the punt returner are for the Chicago Bears going forward.
Tony went to the second Harvard of the Midwest. The first one is ISU, and then he went to Whitewater. So that's why we're so smart on this podcast. So let's go into the offense, what we're going to expect to see. Justin Fields will be playing this upcoming Saturday against the Buffalo Bills. And personally, folks, from my perspective, I don't want him out there more than one series. Too much risk being this close to the season. Just throw a dart to DJ Moore or Chase Claypool or anybody, make a quick touchdown, get off the field, and then, do a different design play as well with him. Show that he does understand this expanded offense. That's what you're probably going to see when you see Justin Fields out there. You're not going to see anything just being careful, because if you're being careful, they're not even going to play him. So they probably are going to do a little bit of extended playbook. But Tony, thoughts overall on what you're seeing from Fields in a couple drives that he's going to play?
Yeah, it shouldn't be more than one series, like you said, obviously, maybe two. If there's something like, okay, we're struggling in play action, we're struggling in this, like, it should just be, let's just run, 7 straight plays of whatever that is, whatever the two things they need to work on. I don't care if they don't punt it. I don't care if they turn it over on downs. I don't care if we gain a yard. Work on the stuff you need to work on to be better for week 1.
And speaking of that, there is a competition between the backup quarterbacks that Matt Eberflus hinted at during his recent press conference on Thursday. He's saying that it's wide open right now between Tyson, Walker, and Peterman. I want to see who can go off the most against the Bills. Tyson's been the most consistent, then Peterman, then Walker. Maybe this could be the game that Walker saves himself, gets a little bit more playing time for the Bears to really evaluate, because he has the most to prove. But that's probably what you're going to see. You're going to see a little bit of Justin Fields, and then they're going to throw Tyson out there. Or PJ Walker is probably going to go out first because they're paying him more money. But Tony, I want Tyson and Peterman as my QB2 and QB3. I don't think PJ Walker is going to work out as it looks right now. And this is a business, and it's just not working at the moment. Who are you looking for to have the bigger game between the three on Saturday?
Tyson. I'm so in on Tyson. It's unbelievable. I know it means that he went to Shepherd University. What is Shepherd University? That's so that is one of those beautiful stories you can't help but root for. Plus, he just seems kind of electric. That touchdown against, what was it, the Colts, where he dove into the end zone, whatever. That was awesome. So that's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for him. Peterman, we get it, man. See ya. Bye-bye.
So you'd rather have Walker over Peterman?
Okay, so I think I said it last week. Whoever Justin Fields thinks will help him in the quarterback room, reading, just breaking things down. That's who the real answer. That's who should be that third quarterback. Tyson should be there purely just because he's electric.
Absolutely, I agree. He's just fun to watch. I mean, we called him the last Kurt Warner, and everyone called us madmen, and now look at him. I mean, he's putting on a show right now. Let's go to the running back room real quick about what we're going to expect this upcoming Saturday against the Buffalo Bills. Bills have a very tough front defense at all levels. So all the running backs are going to be challenged, which is great because you're able to find out who the backup running back is. You have Rashawn Johnson, who I want to see rip up Buffalo up the middle and on the outside, showing that he is a future asset to this franchise. Also, I want to see how Khalil Herbert does against pass blocking. That's going to be very big as well. You know, it's been a struggle all season. This is by far his biggest challenge, minus the Chicago Bears front seven. But Tony, I mean, out of everybody, what are you looking for from the running back room against the Colts?
Yeah, so make sure Herbert's ready. Again, same thing with Fields. Make sure the timing with him is right. He's going, when they go with play action, Herbert's going to the right side. He's going to the left side, whatever the correct side is. The communication with the offensive line and protection. But I want to see a steady diet of Roschon Johnson after that. Jonathan Taylor better not be walking through that door. We don't need him. Let's prove why. Roschon. I guess a little Treston Ebner too. That's what I'm looking for.
He's definitely fighting for a spot. I mean, Treston Ebner and Travis Homer are both fighting for their NFL lives right now. I think they'd get picked up from a practice squad perspective, or they'll get put on the practice squad, but it's tough looks right now with how well Johnson's been doing. But expect, pass blocking from Herbert, running up the middle and outside from Johnson. And then Foreman's just a veteran that can get it done at all parts of the game. So excited for that. We know we have a lot of depth there. And no Jonathan Taylor back. Maybe Chase Claypool, though. I mean, I personally want to see him out there. If he's healthy enough to go out there, he's got to shake off the rust because he's the one that's probably got it the most, considering he's been out for the last 3 weeks. But overall, I want to see the two final spots at wide receiver go at it. Expecting passes, they're impressive. They're going to be begging for passes from whoever the quarterback is. Velus Jones Jr., like we were kind of talking about, is going to be out there. You have Fountain as well. A lot of Pettis, a lot of battles are going on right now in order, and they can save themselves in other areas on this team. But wide receiver is what they're going to be put down as. And if you have a packed room, it's kind of luck of the draw at that point. Tony, what are you thinking? I'm expecting a lot of passes to evaluate this room because running back room is pretty much locked. A lot of passes. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I know I had mentioned early off the top of the show I was going to talk about Dries Fountain. I said last week, you can't see what you have until you see what you have. That man is Dries Fountain right now. He's not going to be a top 3 guy. Obviously, that's locked in. Who knows? Claypool, I think he's going to have a bounce back here. But if he doesn't, there may be some competition at the 3 spot. But there is a serious drop-off once you get to 4. Like you mentioned, it's Pettis, ESB, Velus. Like it's not exactly the heaviest hitters in the 4th spot, is the nice way to put it.
And Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott, too, is low-key got a battle for... We haven't seen much of him, so he's in a little bit of an awkward position, too.
That was exactly... Yeah, so my last point was going to be that this could be the week that he beats out Velus and Tyler Scott on the depth chart, at least. Again, those guys... We'll talk about special teams later. They'll probably still be on the team, at least 2 of those guys, but he could make some moves.
So Fountain's proven to me that he's a red zone target because he's 6'2". He's proven to me that he can get down the field at speed because he's crazy fast. But I want to see him on the deep ball because if he can do that, I mean, this guy could be an absolute hidden gem that no one knew about except Ryan Poles of the Kansas City Days. So something to look out for sure. Quickly want to hit on the offensive line for everyone before we go to the defense where we'll talk about the Josh Allen impact. This is going to be a test of depth. Cody Whitehair and Braxton Jones are the only 2 starters that are going to be out there for Justin Fields. Why we only want Justin Fields out there for a little bit? Because he's not going to have the protection he's going to have. Doesn't sound like Darnell Wright is healthy enough to play, nor is Nate Davis. Don't really know what's going on there. But we might see Lucas Patrick and Doug Kramer swapping out in and out a lot, which I'm excited about because we need to know we have a good center, especially after Buster for days. So, Tony, any quick thoughts on the offensive line before we go to the defense?
Just as simple can get. Nobody else get hurt. Please, dear God, nobody else get hurt.
No. Yes.
That's all I ask.
100%. 100%. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. No one get hurt. Please, for the love of God. Let's go to the defense real quick. You are going to have Josh Allen out there. You're not going to have Mitchell Trubisky because he's no longer on the Bills like we had a couple years ago during the preseason. So won't see a ton of, Mitchy Mitch out there, but we're going to see Allen for a little bit. Kyler Gordon was Josh Allen's biggest nightmare last year. I would like to see Allen out there for 2 drives, see what this young secondary can do. This is by far the hardest quarterback that they've gone against so far in regards to, overall talent. You've gone against Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying Fields isn't a talented quarterback, but it's at practice. So a little bit different. But as an opposing team in a real NFL game, Josh Allen's the toughest. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Tony, who are you looking out for how they handle Josh Allen the most?
Yes, Tyreek Stevenson. I know he's going to be out there a little bit. He's going to be on the team. We know that, but he is still kind of fighting for that number one DB spot. So he did say, he came out in the media and he said he can't wait to show what he can learn from his mistakes, and 2, catch a football. So expect a pick out of him tomorrow. That was exactly what he said. I guess he's been dropping balls in practice, I think is what he was specifically referring to. I think he dropped one last week too. So expect a pick out of him tomorrow. That's an official prediction. If you could bet on that, maybe sprinkle a little cash on it. Also, Joshua Blackwell, just going to keep saying his name.
Pounding the table for our guy.
Yep, yeah. He's awesome. That's all.
I think he's I like the depth. I think Kindle Vildor is the only guy that's pretty much for sure out the door after this. If we keep Vildor, we riot. There's just nothing we can do with this guy anymore. We've given him so many chances, but you got AJ Thomas out there too, fighting for a spot. I want to see Blackwell. I know he's been injured a little bit, so I hope to see him out there too. But his speed, his size, his ability as a starter last year at the end of the season, depth is looking really good for the secondary. One more thing I want to call out, Tony, is the defensive line, when we might see Yannick out there for the first time in a game, probably for a drive or two. But it's going to be nice to see DeMarcus Walker and Yannick on each side and seeing the pressure that they put on Josh Allen, because the Bills' offensive line stinks. Healthy or injured, they stink. According to my Bills sources, my coworkers, they say they stink. So, Tony, who are you looking out for from the defensive line perspective? Because there's a slight battle there too between like Travis Bell, you have Terrell Lewis, Rasheem Green. Who are you most looking out for that needs to fight the most to make the roster?
Rasheem Green is a good one to call out there. I'm thinking this is kind of just where we find out how deep our defensive line can and should be, because like you kind of mentioned with the wide receiver group, it's a packed room, kind of similar with the defensive line. If you look at the Bears depth chart, it is. And that's where we find out, okay, are we 8 guys deep? Are we 6 guys deep? Like is there a steep enough drop off where we got to maybe focus on another position? I think that's where kind of this all gets figured out. It should actually be a pretty fun game this weekend. I'm kind of excited. I love watching these position battles. I don't know. It always excites me.
I'll be there. I'll be posting videos for everybody. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter is right below me. And Tony will obviously be doing probably live tweet updates, because service at Soldier Field is so iffy sometimes. So when that happens, keep a lookout for that. But we're not doing score predictions because it's the preseason. Also, every single time that we've ever done it, the Bears have lost. So we apologize for that last year. We're also welcome for the number 1 overall pick. So we are not doing score predictions today. We are just going to have a lot of fun. But Tony, as always, thanks for coming on, man. And thank you guys for listening to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside my cousin, good friend, Tony Sapita. Look out for the week 1 giveaway. It's coming up quick. If you hit that subscribe button, you're automatically already in. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode, and we'll see you guys next time.